Social learning theory. Social learning theory is a theory of learning and social behavior which proposes that new behaviors can be acquired by observing and imitating others. It states that learning is a cognitive process and takes place in a social context and can occur purely through observation or direct instruction, even in the absence of motor reproduction of direct enforcement. Social control theory. Most people would commit crime if not for the controls that society places on individuals through institutions such as schools, workplaces, churches, and families. Theorists believe it is society's responsibility to maintain a certain degree of stability and certainly in an individual's life to make the rules and responsibilities clear and to create other activities to the art criminal activity. Social theory is especially important when analyzing crime in improved areas. Key concepts. People learn through observing others' attitudes and outcomes of those behaviors. Most human behavior is learned observationally through modeling from observing others. One forms of idea of how new behaviors are performed and on later occasions thus this encoded information serves as a guide action. Reciprocal determinism. Bandura believes in reciprocal determinism, that is, the world and person's behavior cause each other, while behaviorism essentially states that environment causes one's behavior. Bandura, who was studying adolescent aggression, found this too simplistic, and so in addition he suggested that behavior causes environmental as well. The theory is related to Vygotsky's social development theory and Leib's situated learning, which also emphasize the importance of social learning. Number of processes that make a child reproduce the behavior of society. First, the child is more likely to attend to and imitate those people it perceives as similar to itself. Consequently, it is more likely to imitate behavior modeled by people of the same gender. Second, the people around the child will respond to the behavior it imitates with either reinforcement or punishment. Reinforcement can be external or internal and can be positive or negative. If a child wants approval from parents or peers, disapproval is an external reinforcement, but feeling happy about being approved of is an internal reinforcement. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is John Joseph C. Sagaral. I am the second reporter in the group, and my topic is all about Bandura's theory. And according to him, that there are 4 meditational processes. So let's start. So unlike Skinner, Bandura in the year 1977 believes that humans are active information processors and think about the relationship between behavior and its consequences. Observational learning could not occur unless cognitive processes were at work. These mental factors mediate in the learning process to determine whether a new response is acquired. Therefore, individuals do not automatically observe the behavior of a model and imitate it. There is some thoughts prior to imitations, and this consideration is called mediational processes. These occur between observing the behavior or stimulus and imitating it or not, are also called a response. So meaning, Bandura's social learning theories provides a helpful framework for understanding how an individual learns via observations and modeling. Bandura asserts that most human behavior is learned through observation, imitations, and modeling. And also, according to him, People observe behavior either directly through social interactions with others or indirectly by observing behaviors through media. Actions that are rewarded are more likely to be imitated, while those that are punished are avoided. So now let's proceed the theory of Bandura, which is the four meditational processes. So the first process is attention. So attention is the individual needs to pay attention to the behavior and its consequences and form a mental representation of the behavior. For a behavior to be imitated, it has to grab our attention. We observe many behaviors on a daily basis and many of these are not noteworthy. So attention is therefore extremely important in whether a behavior influences others imitating it. So these processes, Bandura is trying to point out to us that through our attention, we can know the right and wrong behavior. We can select or include or exclude what behavior might be to follow or imitated because kung natin attention, we can observe properly na. So the second meditational processes is retention. Retention is how well the behavior is remembered. The behavior may be noticed but it is not always remembered, which obviously prevents imitation. It is important, therefore, that a memory of the behavior is formed to be performed later by the observer. Much of social learning is not immediate, so this process is especially vital in these cases. Even if the behavior is reproduced shortly after seeing it, there need to be a memory to refer to. So at this meditation process or second, Bandurat kanang retention kuno kay not all times our memory will remember, so it's important nga we should retain or take actions kanang we perform later by the as what we observe kuno. So the third meditational process is reproduction. This is the ability to perform the behavior that the model has just demonstrated. We see much behavior on daily basis that we would like to be able to imitate, but that is not always possible. We are limited by our physical ability, and for that reason, even if we wish to reproduce the behavior, we cannot. This influences our decisions whether to try and imitate it or not. Imagine the scenario of a 90-year-old lady who struggled to walk watching dancing on ice. She may appreciate that the skill is desirable one, but she will not attempt to imitate it because she physically cannot do it. So meaning, although we have desiring to perform those actions or to follow this behavior, but because of the lack of ability, we tend not to do it because of lack of ability. So the fourth meditation process of Bandura is motivation. The will to perform the behavior, the rewards and punishment that follow a behavior will be considered by the observer. If the perceived rewards outweigh the perceived costs, if there are any, then the behavior will be more likely to be imitated by the observer. If the vicarious reinforcement is not seen to be important enough to observer, then they will not imitate the behavior. So at this point, so we just perform we just follow that behavior if there's a reward, then if there's no reward, we do not imitate it of that behavior. So that would be all. That's in my report.
Routine activity theory. Followers of routine activity theory believe that crime is inevitable and that if the target is as attractive enough, crime will happen. Effective measures must be in place to deter crime from happening. Routine activity theory is a subfield of crime opportunity theory that focuses on situations of crimes. It has been developed by Marcus Pilson and Lawrence E. Cohen. When you say kung attractive kuno ang target, then nagay crime nga hitabo. The premise of routine activity theory is that crime is relatively unaffected by social causes which as poverty, inequality, and unemployment. For instance, after World War II, the economy of Western countries was blooming and the welfare states were expanding. Despite this, crime is significantly during this time. According to Pilson and Cohen, the reason of the increase is that the prosperity of contemporary society offers more opportunities for crime to occur. There is much more to steal. Routine activity theory is controversial among sociologists who believe in the social causes of crime. But several types of crime are very well explained by routine activity theory. For instance, copyright infringement related to sharing employees and corporate crime. A motivated offender can be pointed out as type of person who has true intent to commit a crime against an individual or property. However, the motivated offender has to be someone who is able to commit the crime, or in other words, has everything he needs to commit a crime, physically and mentally. Motivated offenders are individuals who are not capable of committing crime activity but are willing to do so. So when we say motivated offenders, kana na siyang nga tao nga nagay ka nang mubuhat yun siya crime kay gigusto yun kay niya. Then na-motivate siya nga buhat ana kay nga na siya malipay or etc. Suitable targets can be a person or object that are seen by offenders as vulnerable or particularly attractive. The factors that render a particular target attractive are situational and crime specific. The analytic focus of the routine activities takes a macro-level view and emphasizes broad-scale shift in patterns of victim and offender behavior. It focuses on specific crime events and offender behavior decisions. The theory also based on the opportunity to commit crime. Victims also have given choices whether to be victim mainly but not placing themselves in situations where a crime can be committed. When we say victims are given choices, choice na nimo nga magpabiktima ba ka or di. Suitable targets. In routine activity theory, the term target is preferred over the term victim, as they might not be present at the scene of the crime. For example, an owner of a television might be away from their home when a burglar decides to target the television for stealing. The television is the target and the owner's absence indicates the absence of capable guardian, thereby making the crime more likely according to the theory. A suitable target is any type of individual or property that the motivated offender can damage or threaten in the easiest way possible. If a target is suitable, this means that there are greater chance that the crime can be committed rather than a target that is hard to achieve. Absence of suitable guardian. Guardianship refers to a person or an object that is effective in deterring criminal offenses, and sometimes crime is stopped by simple presence of guardianship in space and time. A guardian would not necessarily have to be a policeman or a security guard, but rather a person whose proximity or presence would lower the chances of crime happening. We say absence of guardian, suitable kanang pabayaan ra nila palitan na ilang mga anak ilarang pasagdan nga magbuhat or mahimong biktima. This could include a housewife, a doorman, a neighbor, or a co-worker. Whilst inadvertent, the presence of a guardian has a powerful impact on the likelihood of crime taking place. This does when the guardian is not within the vicinity of the target. The likelihood of a crime occurring is significantly higher. Routine activity theory states that in order of a crime to be committed, the specific criteria must be involved. These criteria are that there must be motivated offenders, a suitable target, as well as the absence of capable guardian. This theory attempts to show the crime rates not generally affected by macro changes such as economic recessions and unemployment rates. While researching the crime rates after World War II, it was discovered that even though America was economically prospering compared to the pre-war depression, crime rates were still high and show no signs of decreasing. The general lifestyle of an individual plays an important part in the definition of routine theory activity. The more one is exposed to criminal behavior in their everyday lifestyle, the higher the likelihood that a person will commit criminal activity. In conclusion, routine activity theory can be used as a way to explain why crime occurs and to predict who has the highest likelihood of committing crimes based on three requirements: a willing offender, a target, as well as a lack of proper guardians. This assuming that when presented with the situation where they have the ability to commit crime, people will generally take the opportunity. However, using the routine activity theory, we can effectively create programs that make it more difficult not only for people to commit crime but also make them less easy to victimize and cause harm to society. Routine activity theory is a theory of crime events that differ from majority of criminological theories which focus on explaining why some people commit crimes. That is the motivation to commit crime rather than how criminal events are produced. Routine activity theory suggests that the organizations of routine activity theories in society create opportunities for crime. In other words, the daily routine activities of people, including where they work, the routes of travel, and from school, the groups with whom they socialize, the shop, frequent, and so forth. When you say including asa sila nagtrabaho, asa sila magagian, makitaan gina nila perminti nanay posibilidad makita sila ng crime na within nagyapon na sa school o grupo o unsa imong mga barkada. These routines can make crime easy and low risk. Kini kuno sila nga kuan mas pinagi nga sayon o dili na kaayo risky or difficult because opportunity vary over time space among people, so thus the likelihood of crime. Routine activities theory was initially used to explain changes crime trends over time.
This is the continuation of routine activity theories. Environmental criminology and routine theory in particular has very practical implication for prevention. Therefore, practitioners have applied routine activities theory to inform police practice and prevention strategies. This research paper contains a review of the evolution of routine activity theory, a summary of research informed by the theory, complementary perspectives, and current applications, and future direction of theory, research, and prevention. Routine activity theory, first formulated by Lawrence E. Cohen and Marcus Felson in 1979 and later developed by Felson, is one of the most widely cited and influential theoretical constructs in the field of criminology and in the crimes science more broadly. In contrast to theories of criminality, which are centered of the figure of the criminal and the psychological, biological, or social factors that motivated the criminal act. The focus of routine activity is the study of crime as an event, highlighting its relation to space and time and emphasizing its ecological nature and the implication thereof. In their initial formulation, Cohen and Felson postulated that changes in the structure of the patterns of daily activity of people in cities following World War II could explain the rise in crime had occurred. According to leading studies at the time, their hypothesis was that post-modernity had facilitated the convergence in space and time of likely offenders with the goal of committing crime against suitable target in the absence of capable guardians. From, from this, they derive two apparently simple ideas with significant applications. First, that the opportunity for crime may depend on a configuration of distinct, though not disaggregated elements of aggressor or criminals. Second, a correlate of the first, that the absence of either of the first two elements, aggressor and target, or the presence of the third, capable guardians, would be sufficient in itself to prevent a potential criminal event. Routine activity theory is, in short, an attempt to identify, at a macro level, criminal activities and their patterns through explanation of changes in crime rate trends. Cohen and Felson, 1979. It is based on criminal events, on the distribution and grouping in space and time of minimal elements that make them up, rather than on the search for offender motives, and it does offer a frame of reference for concrete and individualized crime analysis and facilitates the necessary that make the existence of a crime possible and thereby preventing it. Tele 2009. Routine Activity Theory, or RAT. There are many theories around that attempts to explain how and why crimes occur, but this one is a well-known theory which provides a straightforward explanation of why crimes occur. It can be used as practical tool by crime reduction, prevention practitioners to analyze crime problems. Routine activity, or RAT, argues that when a crime occurs, three things happen at the same time and in the same space. First is a suitable target is available. Second, there is the lack of a suitable guardian to prevent the crime from happening. Third is a likely and motivated offender is prevented. A suitable target. The first condition for crime is that a suitable target must be available. The word target has been chosen carefully rather than other words such as victim. There are three major categories of target. A target can either be a person, is a being such as a human that has certain capacities or attributes such as reason, morality, consciousness, or self-consciousness, and being part of culturally established form of social relation such as kinship, ownership of property, or responsibility, the defining features of personhood, and consequently what makes a person count as a person differ widely among cultures and contexts. A target can either be an object, anything that is visible or tangible and is relatively stable in form, something material that may be perceived by the senses. A target can either be a place, an area with definite or indefinite boundaries, a portion of space, a location, settlement, or populated place is likely to have a well-defined name but boundaries which is not well-defined and varies by context. London, for instance, has a legal boundary, but this is unlikely to completely match with general usage. An area within a town, such as Covent Garden in London, also almost always has some ambiguity as to its extent. The term location and place in geography are used to identify a point or an area on the Earth's surface of elsewhere. The term location generally implies a higher degree of certainty than place. The latter often indicating an entity with an ambiguous boundary, relying more on human or social attribute of place identity and sense of place than on geometry. No matter how suitable a target is, an offense won't occur unless a capable guardian is absent and a likely offender is present. Absence of a capable guardian. The first condition for crime is that there must be a suitable target present. The second condition is that a capable guardian whose presence would discourage a crime from taking place must be absent. A capable guardian is anything, either a person or things, that discourage crime from taking place. This this be formal or informal. Some example of capable guardian. Police patrols. Patrol officers are law enforcement officers assigned to monitor specified geographic areas areas, that is, to move through their areas at regular.
Good day everyone. My name is Janib Kyle C. Kabodol, Base Cream Section I. My report is Neighborhood Watch Groups A. Neighborhood Watch C. Spelling difference, also called a crime watch or neighborhood crime watch, is organized group of civilians devoted to crime and vandalism prevention within a neighborhood. Neighborhood watch include educating residents of community on security and safety and achieving safe and secure neighborhoods. However, when a crime activity, suspected members are encouraged to report to authorities and not to intervene. Example, kanang dapat sila ilang barangay magbutang sila CCTV sa taga kanto-kanto. Unya, dapat na sila 24 hours na surveillance sa mga tanod, kundi magpakaan sila mga pulis o survey nila ilang barangay para ma-prevent ang sa tawag mas safety ilang mga balay sa ilang mga barangay ba, para malikayan pod ang mga ingani, mga kawat-kawat o mga patay-patay. So next, utilitarianism is a theory of morality that advocate action that foster happiness or pleasure and oppose action that cause unhappiness or harm when directed toward making social, economic, or potential discussion. A utilitarian philosophy would aim from betterment of society and whole as a whole. Is a kuan ko na isang theory ng moralidad ng nagtataguyod ng mga aksyon na pag-unlad ng kaligayahan o kasiyahan. O kung na naikuan sa utilitarianism, pag-unlad daw niya ang sunod philosophy view of theory about how we should evaluate a wide range of things that involve choices that people face. Among the things that can be evaluated are action laws, policies, character traits, and moral codes. Utilitarianism is form of consequentialism because it rests on the idea that it is the consequence or result of action, law, police, and etc. Have you ever asked yourself why certain individuals become criminal? Differential association theory is a theory in crime. Differential association theory suggests that individuals who commit different acts are influenced to do so by primary groups and automated social conducts. Ang differential association theory ay isang teorya sa crime differential association. Mo daw na siya theory na nagmumungkahi na ang mga individual na gumagawa ng mga Lihis na kilos ay maimpluwensyahan na gawin ito ng mga pangunahing grupo at mga intimate social contact madalas sa mga nila sa theory sa differential association theory. That's all. Thank you.
Morning, sir. I am Edmil D. Barda from Section I. My part of my discussion is page 144 to 146. So, my discussion is differential association theory. So, differential association theory is one of the many sociological theories but aims to explain why people commit deviant act. So, differential association theory was proposed by developed by Edwin Sutherland in late 1930s and early 1940s in response to critic criminology by Michael and Elder Loeb 2006. In developing the theory, Sutherland dismissed the notion that individual variants such as age of gender equity explain criminal involvement. The differential association theory stressed that impact that others have one of views of deviant behavior and the law. The theory relies on the social context of individual to explain individual behavior. Individuals learn deviant behaviors through the same mechanism that they learn other behavior through exposure to primary and limited social contacts. However, he notes that more exposure to deviant people does not necessarily result in one behaving in the criminal or deviant manner. Rather, he suggests that the mechanism involved in whether or not deviant behavior or criminal acts take place more complex. He suggests that even one is a mindset that commit deviant criminal act to social context for situation must be perceived by the individual as an opportunity to commit the deviant or criminal act. Differential association theory asserts that was has more definition favorable to the legal system over definition unfavorable. The legal system one is less likely to delinquent. Thus, a person to violation of law over definition favorable to violation law. Association is a theory based on the social environment against from significant others in social environment and suggests that the definition are learned through communication with initiate people or groups from whom the person learn the techniques, the motivation, rationalization, and attitudes. So, similarly, it does not suggest that any person who around criminals necessarily becomes a criminal. Rather, in differential association data specifies that those who have a greater ratio of unfavorable to favorable definition as deviant behavior are more likely to deviate. This implies that one's likelihood as deviant is subject to change depending upon the ratio of this definition. Unlike some other theories of deviance social control, one's inclination to commit crimes will vary across the life course and is not fixed at any particular stage of development or age. Differential theory leads from criminals to change their ways to become conferring people. So, 9 assumption of the theory. So, Sutherland 1939 to 1974 provide the background for how people obtain definition favorable of unfavorable to violation of the law. So, while expliciting the theory, Sutherland suggests that the following 9 assumptions guide how the theory is able to explain criminal behavior. Each assumption is received below. So, criminal behavior, like all other behavior, are learned to. The theory has received criticism due to first assumption that the main criticism drawn from the assumption is that the theory is overbroad by claiming to explain all behavior. Learning criminal behavior occurs through interaction with people via communication. All forms of communication are variable avenues from ones to learn criminal behavior. The main truth at which one can learn criminal behavior through communication includes, but it's not limited to personal face-to-face communication. Written communication such as a letter and electronic mail, video chat, and telephone conversation. So primary and initiate social groups are responsible for teaching the vast majority of criminal behavior. The essence of this assumption is that just contact alone with criminal will not result in someone becoming a criminal if one father was ever impressed or ever particularly in criminal behavior. That this does not mean that one will become a criminal, but according to the theory, the primary and initiate social groups will include biological parents, adoptive parents, so step-parents, and ex-step-parents. This would also include sibling, more distant kin, such as a cousin, aunts, and uncle, and other relatives as well. So, other family are also considered initiate social groups. First are considered as source of learning definition and favorable to law violation. Likewise, so School personnel and other one closely tied social groups may also provide definition. Till from this long list of the possible source of learning, definition, and unforable or forable criminal acts. Differential association theory is complex and may difficult to model in social science research. Learning criminal behavior requires knowing the techniques necessary to commit the crimes and the reasons, rationalism, and attitudes involved with committing such criminal act. They have still sell drugs and commit other criminal acts while this intends to serve and restore the one learned the techniques necessary to commit criminal acts. So teaching the reason and rationalization and attitudes are not necessary done is this concrete ways. So take the example of the drug dealing parent of young. So adolescent in the parent is selling the drugs to someone there may be a routine to parents following the drug purchase guest or arrives all the home. Perhaps the father leads to guest to back to bedroom or based on the grades of after 10 to 30 minutes, both the father and the guest rejoin the members of the household. So the father and the guest tend to do the procedure and most of the just visits. Yet the child may be also observed that the time of the father does not to well all the guests and the children are never permitted for the follow the father and do guests to other room. Differential association theory will judges that by learn this.
My name is Christian Iyabalya, BS Crim2 Section I. Mo din akong report, sir. The motivates and drive to commit criminal act, whether positive or negative, and derived from one ratio variable. Typology that aims to answer the question, and the theory was developed by Edwin H. Sutherland, who was a sociologist and a professor created the theory of explain the reason why people commit crime. The theory is based upon the idea that criminals commit crime based upon their association with other people, basically criminal. Behavior is learned by association with the other criminals individual. In addition, criminal can exist in any income, race or sociological background. Sutherland states 9 basic tenets of his differential association theory. He has written extensively on each one, however, in a nutshell, these tenets are: criminal behavior is learned of behavior. Criminal behavior is learned by interacting with other people by communication, with words and gesture. The main portion of learning the criminal behavior happens among small group people. Learning about crime includes learning the technique of committing a crime, as well as learning to motivation attitudes towards crime. Legal codes demonstrate what is good or bad and provide motivation for crime. In the words that law express what is right and wrong to an offender. A person becomes a criminal because of the frequent criminal patterns. For example, if one exposure to a different criminal scenario, this scenario will eventually rob of other nearby. The differently association theory can different in frequency, duration, priority, and intensity. The learning of criminal behavior by association is similar to all other types of learning. Criminal and non-criminal behavior in an expression of the same needs and values. In other words, if those not discriminate and any person of any background can become a criminal.